Okay, so now we are on 16.05. Again, tiny little additional things, mostly review of what we've already gone over. We've talked about describing objects. Now we're going to get to a little bit more specific. In general, think about how we've talked about defining things and describing things. Start with the largest descriptor, the largest label we can give, and work our way to the most specific. You wouldn't say, it's an object that has antennas, and then tell people it's an old television or an old radio. You want to say first, it's an old radio. It's got antennas. That should make sense. You wouldn't describe someone by the color of their contacts unless the color of the contacts happens to be bright red and they look demonic when they wear them. They got brown eyes, but they're contacts. That would be a bad way of describing a person. Start with the most generic. If you can eliminate 50% of the population with a word, then use that. So you're going to start with large details, the biggest thing, the biggest part to the smallest part. Oftentimes it's from the ground to the top, unless something's a huge like statue or hanging from the ceiling. And one other note they say is something that's least mobile to most mobile. These are just good ways of organizing things, and I think we'll explain that in just a second. So I should probably double this one. Let me do this. Duplicate. Sorry. I'm going to make 2 slides of this just because it'll be a little bit easier to see. The drawings from the picture don't scan all that great. Okay, so that's that. Let's do this one first. Okay, so we've got a takeaway container. Aside from radio, again, it's a hearing thing. So it's never really had much of a sign that's specific to it. So the last one, I think, is an ice cream maker. So again, think about the object that you're describing, and what's the most generic thing, the biggest thing you can start with. Then start adding details down to the point where it moves. Let me do this one again. And sorry, you have to watch us make the sausage, but it's not pretty. We did pump. Sometimes you want to do this. Sometimes it makes it a little too flexible. I don't think you can see. It looks like a lollipop. I think it's a plunger. Just don't put it in your mouth. Okay. So, I mean, in each of those, describe the object, say what it is, describe the object, show how you use it. Simple, simple, simple. And there's some descriptions of what they recommend. So you can practice each one of those. And then here's the sentence structure. So the shape, if they're a pattern design or a texture, and then either adding on handles and switches and things like that, or just showing how those things work. Then, what does it look like? Again, we would go around the room and practice and talk about things. If we're live in class on Zoom, I would have you find something in the room to describe. And, we'd go around the circle. You can do it by yourself. Just practice looking. And what I recommend is record, watch the video. Record it, step away, do something else, come back and watch the video. Eventually, you've got to get to the point where you can watch yourself and forget the knowledge of knowing what you recorded and watch to see if the recording itself is clear. Distinguishing similar objects, having two different things that are similar, what is the difference? How would you highlight the difference? So you can describe them both. You could describe them both the same way, but what are the signs that you would do to show that this is different from this? Okay. So little things like that. And it's all the same skills. It's just practicing a little bit different. Like, for example, here are 4 different cups. How would you show the difference? So obviously, it's clearly the handles and the shape. Number 3 and number 1 also have sort of a design. So those kind of things, looking for what's the difference between two similar objects, and how would I explain the difference? Because first you got to be able to see it. Then, if someone said, oh, so you can now use those to say, no, not that one, this one. I want a cup. I want this one or this one? No, I want that one. So we would practice dialogue with that. And again, it's just something you can see where you pull 2 cups out of 2 coffee cups, boom, set them down, and just describe the difference. I don't want that one. I want that one. And then describe each one. And that's 1605. It's really just comparing similar objects. Simple, simple stuff.